Some can't avoid it, others go around.
You guys don't have any weapons in the car, do you?
The predominantly white village of Bracknell has a reputation. News 5 investigators teamed up with the Marshall Project Cleveland to look at its traffic ticketing practices. We found black drivers from neighboring Cleveland being stopped and having to pay fines and court costs, with some not understanding why in the first place.
When other people heard that in other cities, they saw themselves.
From January 2020 to this September, Bracknell police either cited or warned more than 4,000 people. Race was listed in just over 2,200 cases. Of those, 63% were black. But those stats don't give the full picture. In 45% of the stops, race was not listed.
Collecting data information on who's being stopped is not going to hurt anybody.
It is not mandatory for all law enforcement in Ohio to track this information. State Representative Juanita Brent wants to change that. Next session, she'll introduce racial data collection legislation.
Would this be all stops, all traffic stops?
All traffic stops. It allows us to really just see what our trends are. Right now, no one has that data to even say that there is some type of bias when it comes to our police officers.
An NYU policing project shows fewer than half of the states require racial data collection.
I've been advocating for racial profiling legislation at every level.
Cleveland State University's Dr. Ronnie Dunn says it's how you begin to build a bridge between community and police.
It's about equity. If legislation will ensure citizens that you are not violating their constitutional right.
Dunn serves on the Ohio Collaborative, which established standards for policing, including the collection of data on all self-initiated traffic stops, including race. Bracknell didn't start until 2020 and failed to provide race data on hundreds of stops this year.
We need to codify it with legislation.
If you look at your Ohio driver's license, your picture is in a few spots. Your sex, height, and eye color is, but race is not.
It would be ideal. Some states do have race on it, and that would take some of the guesswork out of it.
The Buckeye State Sheriff's Association opposes what Brent is calling for and thinks race information should be collected when driver's licenses are issued. Executive Director Bob Cornwell says race is not always easy to decipher, saying having officers ask someone's race can make a traffic stop more difficult.
They shouldn't ask. It's the officer's perception. That's what racial, any type of bias is really based on.
The ACLU of Ohio says cohesive statewide data collection would help understand the extent to which black and brown communities are disproportionately impacted through over-policing.
Then the agency can take remedial steps to address that.
Brent says if legislators are not addressing outcries for better community police relations, they're not doing their jobs.
This didn't just happen because of what's happening in Bracknell. This is so many different people's stories.